getting into all this goofy sort of science stuff and philosophy stuff, and I hope that I'm explaining it in a way that makes sense. What I'm basically saying is that it's okay to live your life. I mean, whatever choice do we have? We have to live our lives. But I think that a person can function well and can live quite well, quite comfortably and quite effectively, even if they constantly remind themselves that I'm not sure about what I think. In fact, I think, again, this is just me personally, I believe that people might benefit from reminding themselves of that occasionally, from occasionally kind of asserting themselves and saying, I believe that this is true, but I could be wrong. I look out the window and see clouds. I mean, the sky is overcast right now, but it's still light outside. I mean, there's still daylight outside. And I believe that that's because there is a sun behind the clouds. But I can't prove it. I can't see the sun right now. I've seen it before, but maybe it's not there right now. Maybe it's a magical fairy. How do I know? I can't see the sun at this moment. And I can still live adequately. I can still live well enough acknowledging that reality that I'm not certain that there is a sun up there. I'm not certain, even if I could see the sun, I still wouldn't be sure that there is a sun there. I mean, maybe it's an illusion. So, we can't necessarily trust our five senses, right? So I can still live well enough saying, I don't know if the sun will rise tomorrow. I don't know if I actually look like what I see when I look in the mirror or on a video. I don't know if I actually live where I think I live. I don't know if I've actually had the experiences that I seem to have. Maybe my memories are just an illusion, like in Blade Runner, where these androids had memories implanted in their heads and they thought they had lived these whole lives that they'd never lived. Those were just memories that were built in their brains. I don't know what will happen to me tomorrow. I don't know what happened to me yesterday. I don't even know what's happening to me right now. But I'll still make the best choices that I can make. I'll still try to make the best decisions that I can with the information that I have, because what else can I do? I have no other option. I have no other way to live my life. And I think that I can live reasonably well that way. I don't see why not. Some people have said you can't live that way. Some people have said you need some amount of certainty in your life. But I think that once you get used to the idea, it's okay to live with uncertainty. You just have to accept the idea that what you think is true might not be. Even science actually acknowledges this. Science today, and not just today, I mean, it's been going on for a few decades now, but, science today as opposed to like 100 years ago, is now getting into all this quantum physics stuff, and quantum physics is really crazy. If you read about quantum physics, it's absolutely, like, ridiculously counterintuitive. Once you get down to these, again, going back to fundamental particles, once you drill down below the level of atoms and below quarks and sort of you get into string theory, and there's this idea that maybe there is some fundamental particle and we're all made of these tiny vibrating strings, you get into this idea of the uncertainty principle and the idea that basically there's some kind of particle which is neither this way nor that way until you observe it. It's like Schrodinger's cat. Schrodinger's cat is like somehow both alive and dead until you check on it. That doesn't make any sense intuitively to you or I. That how can that possibly be? How can something be in two states at once? I talked in the last video about the idea that maybe God exists and does not exist at the same time. How is that possible? It doesn't make any sense to us. And yet, modern science is sort of pointing to this idea that there is randomness, that we're seeing now in our study of quantum physics, this idea that at its core, at the very, basic building block level, randomness is sort of a fundamental part of our universe. Like in the very matter itself, the matter that we're made of, that everything around us, everything is made of matter, of these types of particles. And all of it has randomness and uncertainty inherently built into it, and is capable of randomness at every moment. And, this isn't some sort of fantasy, this isn't some sort of pseudoscience or some sort of, science fiction idea. This is basically our reality that we're seeing now, that we're sort of uncovering with modern science, with quantum physics. And so even science itself is acknowledging that our universe may not be as caustic or deterministic as we think it is. It's not necessarily the case that if this happens, then that will happen, or going back the other way, that this happened because of some cause. It's not necessarily that way. So, what can I say? It's it's a strange sort of it's a strange sort of world that we live in. In many ways, our world is kind of bizarre. It's more strange than we think it is, and I think a lot of people would like it to be simple. A lot of people want to. I see a great desire among some people to boil down life to like one principle. Like, for example, I talked about the golden rule. Some people say that the golden rule is treat other people the way you would want to be treated, and that's the most important thing that you could do with your life. Or some people say, be true to yourself, follow your heart. That's the most important advice or personal policy that you could live by. Or honesty. Honesty is the best policy. So, there are all these things. People have this sort of desire to simplify life and boil it down to a very small kind of set of principles. In the Bible, there's the Ten Commandments, of course, and other beliefs may, also have sort of similar codes, which sort of have a fundamental sort of set of central rules. And it's not bad. I mean, that's not inherently a bad thing. I think it's okay as long as you don't leave it at that. I think it's okay to believe in things like the golden rule, as long as that's not your only morality, as long as that's not your sole philosophy for life, because I think it's a little more complicated than that. I think life is not as simple as people want it to be. And it can be simple, sometimes it is. Sometimes life is very simple. I mean, sometimes there's a very simple cause and effect. Why did this happen? Because of that. Sometimes there's very obvious relationships between what we think will happen and what actually happened, and why it happened. So sometimes life is very simple, but sometimes it's very complicated, and you can't, I think that you can't necessarily summarize life with a simple set of rules. It's okay to have rules, it's not bad to have a personal code of conduct that you live by, as a personal set of ethics. In fact, I think it's good to have, your personal code of ethics, but again, life is not simple, and life will sometimes surprise you. When you least expect it, when when you're least expecting some kind of deviation in the pattern, then suddenly the next day the sun won't come up, or you'll have an accident, or somebody else will do something, or you might do something that you didn't expect. So that's it. That's uncertainty. Uncertainty is part of our lives, and that's why I don't like it when people act certain. I don't like it when either creationists or evolutionists preach their idea that I know where all these things came from. I can tell you exactly how the universe was created, and where human beings came from, and how the world came to be, and how all these things came into existence. I don't mind people talking about their theories. I don't mind creationism, I don't mind creationists. I also don't mind evolutionists. I don't mind people who talk about the Big Bang, even though, to me, scientifically, the Big Bang seems improbable. But maybe it did happen. How do I know? Or not know? So, that's fine. I don't mind people advancing these theories. And it troubles me when people say, I can tell you exactly how it all happened. Listen to me, science tells us, or the Bible or whatever, tells us exactly how it happened. That frankly bothers me. And like I said, even science now, like hard science, is acknowledging that uncertainty and randomness and sort of, these sort of counterintuitive ways of thinking about time and space are scientific. They're not just the realm of science fiction. They're actual, like, scientifically valid ideas. So, I think, yeah, okay. So the last thing that I just wanted to mention is, again, sort of a response to something that somebody made, or to a response to a comment that somebody made on my last video. Somebody said that I'm simplifying things a little bit too much by suggesting that it's just about ideas, or that I said that people who believe that marriage is between a man and a woman, that's their opinion and they're entitled to it. Somebody kind of said, it's not as simple as just a matter of opinions, because those people are actually preventing it. It's actually that in many places, gay couples can't get married. They're actually, like, legally prohibited from doing so. So you're kind of oversimplifying things if you just say it's a matter of words and ideas. Maybe we can put up with some people saying that gay marriage is wrong, and whatever, that's their opinion and we can ignore it. But we don't have the legal right to get married, and so that's the problem. It's actually a question of what people can do. There are actual physical ramifications based on these ideas. That's true, and I recognize that, but that still doesn't change the fact that these are because of beliefs. And I want to clarify, any law that exists because of people's belief. Why is there a law against anything? I mean, laws don't grow on trees, they don't just fall from the sky, they're created by people. And so every law that exists in any part of the world exists because some lawmaker or some politician or whatever, congressperson or whatever, said, I think that we need a law against this, I'm going to write out a law and put it in the law books because of what I think, because these are my beliefs and my ideas, and I'm going to put it in the law books and expect people to follow that law. So everything that people do, every law that exists, every principle or every clause in a country's constitution or its Bill of Rights or whatever, exists there because of somebody's belief. It's only our ideas that turn into action. I mean, almost everything that people do happens because they decided to do it. Your arms and your legs and your mouth and, your features are controlled by your brain. And you choose to say what you say. You choose to do what you do. So I understand that it's not just about ideas, but everything that happens is a result of ideas. So, people say that, some gay activists might say, it's okay for you to not personally like gay marriage, but that doesn't mean that you should obstruct my right to get married if I'm gay. I understand that, but at the same time, if somebody doesn't agree with gay marriage or isn't comfortable with that idea, they're going to oppose it because of what they believe, because of what they have in here. So I understand that it goes beyond just ideas. It's not just like a matter of having words with people. It's a question of what people can actually do. But what people actually are allowed to do or not allowed to do is a matter of beliefs. It all comes about because of the ideas and beliefs that people have. So, so yeah, I understand it's not just as simple as just ideas that people have in their heads, but it's those ideas that people have in their heads that basically creates our reality. Most of the things that happen to us on an everyday basis happen because of ideas in somebody's head, either ours or someone else's. Somebody said that, somebody decided that we're supposed to do this. Maybe it's your boss at work, or maybe it's, the politician or whatever who created some law that you're expected to follow or, comply with. Or maybe it's you. Maybe you decided, you had the idea that I'm going to do this, and so you did it. Almost everything that happens to us is a result of somebody's ideas, except for natural disasters. Like if a meteor falls on you, then okay, that's kind of accidental, unless it was God's idea. But barring things like that, most things that happen to us happen because of what's in people's heads. So so it's not just like a battleground of laws and principles and things like that. It is an ideological sort of conflict that we're talking about. So I think that's it. That's all I wanted to say. So again, my fundamental core point, if I didn't drive it into the ground enough, is I just want to encourage understanding among people. I just want to encourage people, rather than just to fight against each other and try to antagonize each other, is to try to open their minds and sort of understand why other people think what they think. If you don't agree with somebody, instead of just attacking them, try to say, okay, can you tell me why you believe that? Can you tell me what your thoughts are about this? And I'll try to understand. And even if you don't agree with them, at least you'll understand, and then you'll have a better way of, of managing your disagreements with people, or sort of understanding the conflict that's there, because then you can sort of understand, oh, well, okay, that person thinks that way and I don't agree with them, but I understand why, because this is their thought process, this is their mentality, it kind of makes sense to me now. So I think that's a better approach, and that's what I would like to encourage in everyone, actually. That's all. I don't think I met my goal of going short. I was hoping to make a short video, and I think I don't have a timer. I didn't time this, but I'm pretty sure I failed dismally. So anyway, again, if you actually watched this whole thing, I appreciate it. Thank you for watching, everyone. I hope that this was at least tolerable. I hope everyone's doing well. Thanks for listening. Thank you for your comments and support as always. And I will talk to you folks later. Bye-bye for now.